Thank you for staying with us. The Nigeria Center for Disease Control has reported 420 new cases of COVID-19, taking the country's total number of cases to 248,732. Lagos recorded the highest number of new cases with 103 new infections, followed by Kwara with 90, while Akwa Ibom recorded 39 new cases. So far, 219,479 people have been discharged, while 3,085 people have died from COVID-19 related complications. As countries around the world battle to contain a surge in cases and new variants of COVID-19, Nigeria's National Primary Healthcare Development Agency has urged state governments to step up mass vaccination against COVID-19 as part of moves to combat the virus. The agency has also urged state governors to enact and enforce vaccination mandate for local and state government workers. Nigeria's vaccination drive remains really low, with 4.2% of the population fully vaccinated. But joining me in the studio to talk about this is Oluseyi Adeyemo. He's a public affairs analyst and publisher, Inside Watch Africa. Good morning. Thank you for joining us. Good morning.
Thank you so much for having me.
Right. Let's get your perception of this development coming from the National Primary Health Care Development Agency, asking the government to perhaps urge state governors to enact vaccination mandate for local and state government workers. How does that come to you?
I've told friends, I said, look, there's nothing wrong in wanting people to get vaccinated. It's the right thing to do. We need to protect ourselves to ensure that we have a better world so that we can go back to our lives. But I think, again, we're missing out in the way we ought to do governance. Look, you cannot coerce people into doing anything anywhere in the world. It's not done. I mean, we're not the only one that is having a problem with the COVID-19. The rest of the world is having problem with the COVID-19, and they're employing ways by ensuring that they speak to their people, they engage their people,
right.
They get their buy-in. I don't know why we think the easier or the shortest way to do this is to legislate, to order.
Use of force.
I don't understand it. And I just pray that one way or the other we'll start to understand that the best way and the appropriate way to govern people is to take time, be strategic, and go about engaging your people rather than saying, oh, stop them, arrest them. I think it's barbaric in the way we go about some of those things. What is
missing in our strategy? Because a lot of persons have also complained about our risk communications, that we are not doing something right, and I'm wondering what that is for you.
So it's clear. I mean, you just nailed it on the head. Risk communication. We don't know how to talk to people. We have refused to know that part of governance is communication. In fact, it occupies a very pivotal position in governance. You cannot govern the people by just shouting or backing at them. You can't. Not anywhere in the world. In fact, it is considered barbaric. It is wrong. It is not the right thing to do, because then human beings usually do not do things because you're shouting at them. Mm-hmm. Human beings do things because they feel, they believe in that thing. So you need to have whatever it takes to convince people that, look, this is the right thing to do. Like I said, we all must be vaccinated.
Them.
Yes, we must get vaccinated. It's the right thing to do. Our health is important. The rest of the world is counting on us, because then it's a global problem. But in this space, we need to find a way.
But some would say that desperate times require desperate measures, and so at a time like this, you don't need to convince people. People can see for themselves what the impact is.
The empirical evidence to show that anytime you go the other way, the way they're going right now, you find out that people would always want to find. I'll give an example. A lot of people probably didn't know about cocaine at some point in Nigeria. But when some people were arrested and they were killed, a lot of people then started to say, what exactly is in that thing? And decided to go into that space. Human beings generally, all over the world, would always want to resist when you tell them, don't do this, don't do that, don't do this. I'm not saying that legislation and punitive measures when necessary is a good way to go. But you must convince me. You must be able to let me know that the reason why you're saying, for instance, parents, you want to tell your child, don't do this. And the child asks you, Daddy, why? Say, no, because I say you should not.
You should not.
Then the guy will say, why? But when you tell him, do you know this will do this to you, this, he won't be the one that will tell the juniors and say, Mommy said we should not do this. Why? For this reason. You have employed a police in the house. If you're able to convince the first or the most elderly, and he's convinced in the spirit that what you're saying truly makes a lot of sense, that's the best and the only proper way to do things. I don't subscribe to always, and we do this all the time, backing at people, chasing at people. At the end of the day, government is for the people, it's not against the people. So there is no them and us, it is us. At the end of the day.
So perhaps this is why we are saying we are recording a low drive with regards to vaccination process. We just have 4.2% of the population fully vaccinated.
It's not something to be proud of, but like I said, there's a lot of work to be done by government. They need to be more convincing. They need to show the people why we all have to do this. And I know that we're not as bad as people tag us to be, that Nigerians are difficult people and all of that. Anytime you do some of these things right and you're able to communicate more effectively, because then it's about communication management. If you're able to do it right, you'll be shocked at how much people you can get onto the right side, and this will move faster, will get more people doing it. Because the reason why some of us are able to do it is because we're informed. So why don't you make sure? Nobody chased me, nobody came after me. It was because I understood the essence of it, and I think that's what we need to do to other people. Because I'm not better than the rest of the people, it's just that I have sufficient information, and I think that's what we ought to do. Make sure we get that information across the board so that more people would willingly.
But we see government, through the NCDC on a daily put out information with regards to the numbers, the number of deaths and the number of infections and all of that. That is not enough?
Obviously. I mean, so when you do something over and over again and you're not getting the kind of result, the appropriate thing is for you to go back into your thinking room and say, so what are we not doing right? What can we do more? But obviously, it is not to start chasing people all around and say, oh, you must do this, you must do that. Because at the end of the day, who are you going to benchmark this with? The developed world are not chasing their people, they're not arresting their people, and so we're in this together. What are they doing that is making their people do this? If you want people who are stubborn, then I know that people who are in the developed world are more stubborn than we are, and if they can convince them to do what they're doing, and they're getting the kind of numbers, they're getting it up to 20, 30, 40% of their people being vaccinated, I know we can drive this up as well. We just need to do more work. There's no excuse for you to want to take the easy way out.
You've been talking about doing more and perhaps changing strategy.
Yeah.
Just paint us a picture of what you want to see.
Okay, for instance, so you are looking at the local government area, you're looking at the ward area, you're looking at the one-on-one. For me, this is even an opportunity to drive a lot of things to our people. I think it's about time we now start to explore traditional heads, not running an advert on TV. I want a situation where we have a town hall meeting, bring people in, engage them, let them be the one. For instance, for polio, you remember, if you will recall, that at some point traditional heads had to administer some of these things themselves. They saw them. Have influencers come around and take them to town halls. Let them do some of those things and let people really see them staying with the people who are administering them and say the reason why we're doing this, and you'll be shocked at the number of people who follow these people will naturally want to follow them to come do this. These are the simple things we need to start to employ. Let's take it to the people. Don't stay in your space in Abuja or in wherever and announce it on TV. Take it to them. Let's have traditional heads, influencers, Nollywood actors, musicians, whiskey, religious leaders come out to people and let them go to all of these nooks and crannies, and you'll be shocked at how these things will turn around because they see that their leaders are taking it, not on TV. Because look, let's be realistic, there's apathy, people are suspicious, they believe that maybe it's not true, maybe it's television. Go and meet them, let them see you taking it, let them see you administering it. talk to them. They won't bite you. They're your people. Maybe you'll even gain a lot of things by coming to them, because there are a lot of things that they want to ask you and a lot of things we want to settle, and we need it now. Election is next year. Maybe it's even a good way to even carry election campaign. Go and meet your people, talk to them. Yes.
All right, that's a fine place to leave this conversation. Oluseyi Adeyemo, public affairs analyst and publisher, Inside Watch Africa. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for having me.